First, though, we are talking about Dame Esther Rantzen and her campaign for assisted dying, which was debated in Parliament yesterday. It follows the petition, of course, that was delivered to Downing Street last week by her daughter, Rebecca Wilcox, which, of course, is all part of Esther's hope to change the law as she herself continues to live with stage 4 lung cancer. Well, Rebecca joins me now from her home. Dr. Hillary's here as well. And Rebecca, where do you think we are then after yesterday? Do you think any progress has been made?
It's really hard to say. I mean, I'm not au fait with political machinations, not being a politician myself. It felt like something was happening. Now we need the politicians to commit to a manifesto in their party lines. We don't know who's obviously going to be the next Prime Minister. I think we can have a guess. But what was interesting was how many people had changed their minds about it. And in the end, it was 56% around that in favour. There were 19 who spoke in favour and 13 against and 2 neutrals. It was so interesting. I was on the phone to Mum a lot during the debate yesterday. It's wonderful to watch politicians acting on a petition that's signed by so many people. It's really crowd power, isn't it, making something happen. And there were some wonderful speakers like Kit Malthouse, who was talking about we're not a nation of granny killers and we actually do care about each other. This is not going to be a terrible thing for our nation if we bring in assisted dying. But I was really disappointed by the speakers who spoke from a faith basis, because I don't think this country is so indoctrinated that we believe that everyone should follow the same faith. We're a multicultural, ecumenical country. We believe in respecting other people's opinions. And it feels like we're living under Christian law when people stand up and say that we can't have assisted dying, that you have to have a painful death because God decreed it. I don't believe that. So why should my mum have to suffer that?
Well, exactly. And your mum has really raised this issue. I mean, she is astonishing. She knows that obviously it's going to be too late for her. And yet, being sadly, near the end of her life, she's still campaigning and she's given this. I mean, I don't think we would be sitting talking about this if it wasn't for your mum. I really don't. I don't think that would have happened yesterday. I don't think we'd be anywhere near where we are without her input. I mean, she's made a huge difference.
Well, she's a bit of an overachiever, really. She's fantastic. She's not one to take a compliment. She switches off the moment anyone's positive to her. We gently mock her for being called Saint Esther of the telephone, and because of her Childline and Silverline connections. But now it's got to be Saint Esther of the campaigns. It's quite an extraordinary thing to do when you are suffering the effects of stage 4 terminal cancer. But if you know her, you'd not expect anything less.
Well, it's that thing of still wanting to help other people. What really struck me yesterday when your mum was talking to our Susanna was when she said, you know, your pet had a better death than your father, you know, than your dad. And that really hit home, I think, to an awful lot of people when you think about it like that. Because of course, we love our pets, we love our animals, we love our family. And yet the difference in the way that they go out of this life is really astonishing.
It is really astonishing. And we're a nation of animal lovers and we treat them better than we do humans. I mean, I know it's a very simplistic comparison and there are a lot of differences between a human and an animal and the law treats it differently. But it's what somebody in the Social Care and Reform report said when she was dying, a painful death. A patient said, "We're treating our cats and dogs better than we're treating me." You know, she was in absolute agony and no one could help her. So it's tough. It's a really bold statement to make that her mum's dog had a better death than both her mother and her husband, but it's absolutely true.
Well, we've got Dr. Hillary with us, and it's interesting. And look, we respect everybody who's got religious beliefs. Of course we do. We can understand their concerns. These concerns have been aired a lot, and that's fine. But we're not saying to those people, you have to do this. This will not be compulsory, Hillary,
Exactly right.
will it?
Exactly right. And look, faith's very important for people for all sorts of reasons, but it's an option. We're talking about a law that changes the law on assisted dying, the people having the choice to do that if they want. So, as you say, it's not compulsory.
No, not at all.
There are other arguments against changing the law. There are concerns that the vulnerable or the mentally ill might be abused, that their life might be taken against their wishes. But with tight legislation...
Yeah, there must be checks and balances for that, of course.
And in my 44 years of medical experience, that has never happened to a patient of mine, although I've seen a lot of dozens of people die agonising slow deaths. Yeah. Also, there are concerns about the economic recession. People don't want to feel a financial burden on their families. They might be more inclined to want to take their own life. I don't see that either. That palliative care might deteriorate. Palliative care can be extremely good, especially for people in pain. However, my concerns about this is it takes a long time to organise. It still isn't adequate for people who cannot breathe, who cannot swallow, who are suffocating, who are malnourished and dehydrated at the end of them. We're talking about the last few days of their life. So I think this debate is very welcome. I applaud Esther and Rebecca for their eloquence and their bringing this to the forefront. And, you know, I've seen too many people die an agonising death when they don't want to, when they're mentally competent, when they've made their wishes expressly understood by the rest of their loving family. It's crazy that in this day and age we're asking people to go to a foreign country on their own to end their life in a little room, you know, without their loving family. So the debate is really timely, and I do hope that very soon we'll look at this compassionately and see that actually assisted dying for those people who want it is a kind, loving, humane thing to do.
It's about dignity, isn't it? And it's about choice as well. Rebecca, thank you for talking to us, and please give all of our love to your mother. She is, as I said, a force of nature, a remarkable, remarkable woman, and still campaigning now. Unbelievable.
Can I just quickly say, what she calls this law is compassionate common sense. And she is such a fan of both of you, but she thought that Dr. Hillary spoke so beautifully about his own mother's passing, and she really respects people who are sharing their brave stories. It's really helping. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Rebecca. And if you've been affected by the assisted dying debate at all, there are lots of helplines on our website and lots of ways for you to have your say.